welcome to my channel. I am Andrea and this is Beyond the Pink Door, and it is ages since I have done a vlog, and I'm here today with a pile of stuff that I've made over the last couple of weeks. I was going to do it as a May makes, but I'm not quite sure when I made these so it's going to be a little catch up of what I've been making recently. And I'm going to start it all off by telling you about a dress I made just yesterday. So this one is like fresh off the sewing machine, and it is the Ninalee spring dress. So this was a free pattern in Simply Sewing magazine, and I find it quite hard to get Simply Sewing magazine here in Ireland, so I actually went online as soon as I saw this pattern and I ordered it, and it came in the post and I was so happy. So I was very heavily influenced by seeing loads of these on Instagram, and particularly a lovely lady called Linda, who is Granny Linda Sews on Instagram, and I'll put her name here and I'll link her into the description box. Linda has made a few of these, and I'm really lucky that I get to chat to Linda every week on our social sewing. So I was able to ask her how she found the fit and everything, so it was great. So I'm going to stand up and show you the dress. Now, excuse the mess. I'm in my sewing room and I was sewing yesterday. So this is it. Now, bearing in mind that I'm only 5 foot, it's actually the perfect length for me. So it just goes below my knee. I found that the waist was in exactly the right place for me. It's actually quite low here, I found, so it'll just take a little bit of getting used to. I thoroughly enjoyed making it, I have to say, and I have a funny feeling that it might be my latest dress obsession. So last year we had the fringe and we had the Maya Sotis obsession. I have a funny feeling that this year it's spring dress obsession, because I actually really love it. It just ticks all the boxes for me. I love the sleeve. It's got a little frill. I did this on a single piece. The pattern has 2 pieces, but I just thought that would be too much. It has the little tie here. It's got a slit. It looks just as nice with this left open, I think. So if you didn't want to tie it up, you could just bind the neck and leave it open. I put a waist tie on it, so I sewed it here, just in the centre of the side, the front panels, and I've actually tied it here at the side because I'm not able to tie things at the back at the moment, and I just love it. The only thing it's missing is the pockets, and I automatically went with my hands in my pockets after I made it, and there's no pockets, so I'm going to put pockets into the next one. Now, size-wise, I made the size 12. I thought the 10 was just going to be a tad too tight, or just not roomy enough. Now, I think I could have made the 10, because if I undo the tie here, I can show you there is loads of room in it, but I actually just find at the moment, because I'm restricted with my shoulder tendon tear, that I like my clothes to be a little bit roomier. So yeah, this is the, that's actually hurting now to do that. This is actually the 12, but I did have to do a narrow shoulder adjustment on it, and that made it fit really nicely. Now, I excelled myself where I actually French seamed the whole thing, and it wasn't planned. I just started by doing French seams on the shoulders, because I just thought that would look nice, and then I started doing French seams on the sides, and I did them on the skirt, and then I thought, oh, do you know what, let's French seam the whole thing. So I've never in my life French seamed a sleeve into a bodice, and I just thought that would be a bit tricky, but actually it was quite easy. And I see loads of people who make beautiful clothes and they say, oh, I French seamed the whole thing and it looks lovely inside, and I know I do kind of think, God, that is a lot of work. But actually it's not, because I know you're sewing every seam twice and you're doing a bit of trimming, but really we're sewing every seam twice anyway, and between the sewing machine and the overlocker, so I don't feel it took me any longer to make, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed the experience of it, and it looks so lovely inside. So thrilled to bits with that. And what I found was the Ninalee seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres. So what I did for my French seams was I sewed my first seam at 0.5 centimetre, trimmed off the like scraggly bits, and then sewed my next seam at slightly less than 1 centimetre, because I just thought there might be a little bit, I don't want to make it any smaller. And that worked a treat, and it fits so nicely. Now, as I say, it's just exactly the right length on me, and as you all know, I'm only 5 foot. So if you're obviously taller than 5 foot, where most of the population is, it's probably going to be a little short, I think, because I think it's just right for me. So there's going to be loads more. Yeah, loads more. And my next one, I'm actually going to cut it out in this fabric. So this is a Lady McElroy fabric. I'll link it into the description box. I have it in my shop at the moment. And this is another Lady McElroy. I don't have it in stock, but it is on reorder. What I generally do with my shop is when I come to the end of some bolts, if there's 1 metre or 1.5 metres, I'll nab it for myself. So I've nabbed 2 pieces for myself from 2 different bolts, and they're going to definitely be made into one of these next. So that's my spring dress that I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with. And the other make that I made, which actually is another Lady McElroy fabric, is this one here, and it is a fringe dress. So I actually cut this one out last summer, never got to sew it. The summer just sort of ran away, and I just thought, well, there's no point in sewing it because I'm not going to wear it till next summer. So what was great was it was all cut out, and I felt like sewing one day. So actually I did a lot of sewing over my birthday. So, and this was one of the first things that I made because it was all cut out, and it just got me back into just making some clothes, which was great. So yeah, this is my fringe dress, and I've added a tie to the back of it, so it just gives it a little bit more shape, or I can undo the tie after a big dinner. So it's really lovely. I would love to nip in and out of all these clothes today that I'm showing you, but honestly, with the blooming shoulder, and I don't want to sound like a moany person, it's enough work to get dressed once a day. So what I'll do is I will pop in some pictures of me wearing it, and I truly love it, and it's a lovely floral. And another dress I made, I think the same weekend that I went into a full weekend of sewing for my birthday, because why not, was a Maya Sotis dress. So it's this one here, but I will pop in some pictures here. This turned out really, really lovely, and I was absolutely thrilled to notice as well that I had a tag, one of the lovely Rosy Cheeks labels, and I put that on the sleeve, and I just felt it matched in really nicely regarding colours and stuff, and yeah, love it, love it. So I've worn this one loads because I picked up a lovely pair of shoes recently in TK Maxx. They're little flat pumps, and they're like a leopard print, and they look really cute with this. So yeah, I'm really loving new summer dresses. Now, I have lots from last year, I will be honest. I have lots of summer dresses from last year. I have lots of fringes and Maya Sotis, but they're a tad tighter than they were last year. And as much as I'm trying to lose the extra pounds, they're not going anywhere, possibly down to the fact that I do love cake and chocolate and ice cream. So I'm making some new dresses and loving it. So that's my new dresses. I've done a good bit of jersey sewing as well. One particularly because I picked up a new pattern last weekend. So Jennifer Lauren had a sale on last weekend. I'm not quite sure if the light is going very funny. I'm in front of a window and it's really bright, and it's lovely for sewing in front of, but I don't know if the light is great for the video. But anyway, I have just digressed. Jennifer Lauren had a pattern sale last weekend with 25% off all her patterns, and I was again really happy to see that because I had the juniper cardigan pattern in my basket. So when I went into my account, it was still there, ready for checking out. So I was able to nab it for 25% off. I also bought the Bronte top, which I've cut out one, I'll show you that. And I've got the Hunter tank. And I got something else as well, and I can't remember what it is. Can't remember, it's gone. But I will pop in pictures of this as well. So this is cardigan. So I used a digital print jersey on the front, and I used a plain jersey on the sleeves. And I love this saddle shoulder. So it makes colour blocking just so perfect. So I really fancy doing colour blocking on clothes, but I feel that sometimes if a certain pattern has a pattern on the front and coloured sleeves, it just looks like there wasn't enough fabric to finish it. That's just my opinion. So what I really liked about this was it just gelled in really nicely. And I did the front bands and I did the hems in the red as well, and the digital print is on the back. So I think it's got a really lovely designer feel to it. I'm thrilled with how it turned out. I wasn't keen on either length in the pattern, so one cardigan is very cropped, the other one is quite long, and I wanted something in between. So what I did was I added 3 inches to the length to get the length that I wanted. And on the pattern it's actually quite tapered in from the bust to the waist, which wasn't going to work by lengthening the pattern. So I went for a size 10 on the shoulders and the bust, and then I graded out to a 14 for the hip part of it, and that just made it go a lot straighter, and that worked out a treat. Now I have a tip. I find that the curling on jersey makes bands really difficult to apply. And this is the second cardigan I made. The first cardigan I made ended up a little bit too big and a little bit too short, so this is my just right one. So what I found was on the pattern there's a separate pattern for a piece of interfacing to go down where your buttons are. I use snaps because I just like snaps. So I found that when I ironed on the interfacing here, it obviously stopped the jersey from curling. Now this was on the last one. So on this one, I actually interfaced the entire band. And I used a new interfacing that I got into the shop recently that I heard a lot of people raving about, and I didn't know what it was all about, and honest to God, it's a game changer. So I will link it into the description box below, and if you are buying jersey anywhere, pop a metre of this into your cart and you will not be sorry. So it's a stretchy interfacing. So it just gives the jersey a little bit of extra structure, but it doesn't take away the stretch. So that's why I could put it all the way around the band, and it stopped that curling, and it made the band go on so well. So this, my friend, is my new best friend. So this will be brilliant for doing neck bands as well. So where your neckband is actually quite narrow and your jersey is curling. Now I know not every jersey curls, but I find the plain colour jerseys are great for curling, so they make it a nightmare. So this is perfect. So that's my juniper cardigan. My next make is a Jennifer Lauren as well, and again I'll insert a picture. It's the gable top, which, as you know, I love a boat neck top, and I had seen lots of these being made and I really liked the look of it. So I made it from this lovely jersey. The minute I saw this jersey, I just thought that has to be a gable top or a Somerset. And I quite like a high neck on a top. I get really cold, and I'm also quite conscious of sun damage I have here on my neck. So I love a high neck. Now, when the weather gets warm, it obviously won't be the best thing to wear, but it's from this lovely jersey that says seashells on it. And this is the gable top. And I love the look of this. So with the gable top, I have made, again, a size 10 on the shoulders, and I've graded out to a 14 on the hip, because I'm just finding the Jennifer Lawrence patterns, they're not made for my body shape. But now that I've figured that the 10 at the top and the 14 at the hip works, that seems to work for all the patterns. So I'm dead pleased about that. I'm dead pleased about a lot of things now in this video. So I did a little alteration on my Billy dress that I just loved the look of, but absolutely hated wearing. It was so uncomfortable. And because I've looked at it in my wardrobe so many times and just thought, no, I'm not wearing it because I'm just not happy with it, I pulled it out one day, I got the scissors to it, and I shortened it up into a sweatshirt. And obviously I had to take out the pockets, so there was a little bit of sort of messing around where I had to add in a bit to fill the space where the pocket was. But I don't know if you can even see that, but the pattern is actually so patterned that you wouldn't even notice, and now I'm wearing it loads. So that was well worth the unpicking and the messing about with the pocket, and now I'm wearing it loads. And then I just made a few kind of simple makes because it's still really cold here. I know I'm in a dress today, but later on I could want a jumper. So I made another toaster sweater and pop in a picture. This I've worn loads, and I actually made 2 more Ninalee sweatshirts out of the Cozy Colours fabrics. So I don't have any pictures of these, but they're pretty basic sweatshirts and they're just so comfortable. I love the Cozy Colours because, oh, my stomach, that's not good, because they're not a plain fabric. They've got the little bits in them, which I really like. They're a nice weight for this time of the year, and they're dead cozy on the inside. So, Cozy Colours, love them. So they're all what I've made. I think I've made a few other bits and pieces as well, but nothing terribly interesting. And yesterday I spent the morning doing some cutting out. So again, I have a pile of fabrics here, and they're all like ends of meters from bolts as I'm cutting out orders. And what I do is I leave them in my utility room where my washing machine is, and anytime that I've got like a pile of similar colours, I pop them in and they get washed that way. And then they get folded and brought up here, and then I know they're pre-washed, which is great. So there's always a pile of remnants. Now, sorry about this scraping noise. So I did some cutting out yesterday. Keris is a huge fan of the Deer and Doe givre dress. Where is the pattern? I'll pop in a picture of the pattern actually. So I find that if I have a metre and a little bit of a remnant, it's enough to make her the dress. So I've actually cut out 3 lovely summery ones for her. So she's requested the lollipops first, and we've a little spot and melons. So these are really lovely, and we find that the Deer and Doe patterns just fit her perfectly because she's very petite. And when we go to the shops, we've been shopping recently and we've just gone into say Pennies or whatever, and all the smaller sizes are gone. So there must be lots of girls her size, and I can see how disappointed she is because she can't buy anything because she's so little. So I'm cutting out a few bits and pieces for her. She fancies a pink denim jacket, so that's going to be one of my next makes, I think, after all of this pile. So 3 givre dresses. Yep, that's next. And then what have I got here? I've got a Somerset cut out because again there's a bit of a remnant, and it's in this leopard print. So that's going to be cute. I'm going to wear that loads. I've also cut out the Bronte top from Jennifer Lauren. I will pop in a picture here. It's quite similar to the Tilly and the Buttons Romy top, which I bought the pattern for when it first came out a couple of years ago, and I could never get it to fit me properly, or Keris. They just ended up far too big on the shoulders and just far too big everywhere, so I just gave up. But I loved the way it had the little lap over here, so I didn't realise that Jennifer Lauren had such a similar pattern, so I've cut that out, and I've done the same. I've cut the 10 on the top down to the 14 at the hips, and hopefully that'll work. I've cut it out of this really cute print that we have, or had, in the shop, so it's got ice creams all over it, and I think that's just actually going to be so cute. I can't wait to make it. I'm out of this as well at the minute. Fabrics tend to fly out the door, but I do have it ordered in a different colourway, so I can't wait to see that. And I've cut the neck bindings in black because I think that'll be nice to really show off the edge. loads of colours in it, but I decided on black because I have a pair of black trousers cut out and I thought it might be a bit of an outfit, you know. So I didn't cut these out yesterday. These are the bindings. So I just wanted to show you how I've used the interfacing. So I actually cut out a rectangle of the fabric, I interfaced it all, and then I have added my pieces to it, and I'll actually cut them out of interfaced fabric, because I just thought if you cut out your pieces from the black and the interfacing, iron them together, then you're dealing with the curling. So this should work really well. So I'm going to be cutting them out. And the last, oh, it's not quite the last thing that I've cut out. I have heard loads of great things about the Eve trousers from Merchant and Mills, and they just look really, really nice. What I love on them is that they have given more, they've put more importance on the finished measurements rather than your body measurements. So I had to do an awful lot of looking to find out like how my measurements match up to Merchant and Mills measurements. But first, on the back of the packet, it gives the finished measurements. And what I did was, I looked at the measurements, put the tape around myself and judged what size by the finished measurements, which I actually thought was really good. So I wasn't completely distracted by my own measurements on one chart and then the finished measurements on another, if that makes any sense. And I've cut out a straight size 12, and it even gives the crotch depth, which is really interesting. So I will report back on how they work. I've cut them out of a viscose linen that I got in recently, and it's in a black, so hence why I put the black trimming on the ice cream top. I thought they might work nicely together. So that's the plan. And sorry about the crinkling. The last item that I have cut out that I plan to make soon is the new Friday Company Davenport dress. So this is the Davenport dress. I've printed out the pattern and I've printed out the instructions, simply because there's a lot of pattern pieces in this dress. So it's got a frill on the shoulder, it's got elastic and a casing at the waist, it's got a little frill on the end, I'll pop in a picture, and it's got a yoke piece here at the front. Now, I was highly influenced to buy this pattern by seeing Rachel from Rachel's Stitched Up. I think that's the wrong name. All Stitched Up. I'll put in the name here. I'm having a brain fog moment. But I was watching one of her vlogs one night in bed when I couldn't sleep, and she had bought the pattern, she was making the dress, she made the dress, it was fabulous, and I thought, pause the video, buy the pattern, you have to have this dress in your life. It's gorgeous. And then again on one of our Zoom socials, lovely Lynn had made the dress, and Lynn and I are about the same height and size, so it was divine. And I thought, right, print the pattern, you have to make the dress. This is a couple of weeks ago. I printed the pattern. I still haven't made the dress, but I've cut it out, and I've cut it out in quite a busy pattern, so I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out. And it's in this fabric, which is Eagle Wings. Again, it's one from my shop. And this is it. It's in the teal colourway. I also have it in an ochre colour. I was very tempted with the ochre, but I love the blue. So again, I will report back. Now, I have it cut out for maybe 2 weeks, and I think I cut out the small, but again, I'll talk about that in another vlog. So that was loads of chitter chatter and loads of makes, and I'm actually quite excited with all that I've cut out, and I love spending a bit of time cutting out, because now I know that some evening where I feel like doing a bit of sewing, I can come up and I can work away on something and it's all cut out. Sometimes the planning, the printing the pattern, the cutting out the pattern, the cutting out the fabric just puts me off making something altogether. And I find that, and I know a lot of people are in the same boat, time is of the essence when it comes to sewing, and we just want to try and get as many snippets of time as we can. So I think the whole thing of knowing that I have to choose a size, print the pattern, cut everything out, then I think, oh, I just don't have enough time for all of that this evening. So I have a pile of things cut out now. I have no excuses. So I can pop up here for half an hour some evening and do a little bit of sewing and do that another evening. And sometimes that half an hour turns into like 4 hours and it's dark and I should be gone to bed, and that happens us all, doesn't it? So I've waffled on for long enough. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog, and I've certainly enjoyed sitting here and talking about everything, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.